Do you ever feel worn out, stressed out, like life is stealing your joy and leaving you with nothing, just plopped on a couch with nothing left to give? Do you take advantage of quiet times like this, either alone or with your yaks? I'm going to give you 4 things to help you enjoy just that. So moms, do you take advantage of quiet times like this, where you can go off and relax, recharge, refresh, and get some time alone? It's really important for us to recharge ourselves if we're going to be any good to anyone else, right? This is one of mom's greatest issues, not taking care of herself and getting enough filling to go and fill others. Our kids need us. They need our advice, they need our encouragement, they need our hugs, and they need time with us. So we need to get time with ourselves in order to get that done, right? Number 1, get out of the house. You can't do this at home. You got to get out. And the second thing is to get out in God's creation. It's got to be outdoors. Of course, there are other retreats you can have in different ways, and we can have that in another discussion. But for the purposes of this outdoor spiritual retreat, you got to be outdoors. Think about when you go to someone's home, to a museum or an art gallery. You look around your surroundings, and whatever's there, it kind of gives you a certain vibe, a certain feeling, right? And so it's the same with going out in God's creation. In order to get in tune with God's creation, you need to be out in it, enjoying it, seeing it, smelling it, hearing it, being still in it. And just accept that this is the creation that God has made. The beauty of all of it, the intricacy, the magnificence. It's just really overwhelming if you're still enough to pay attention. Sitting out here, there are thousands of little lives in the balance. Insects, tiny creatures, birds, all this life being sustained. It's amazing. Look around, this is God's decor. This is how He decorated His home, which is our world. Get out into God's home. So maybe you're saying, I'm really not an outdoors type. Bugs, yuck, dirt. If that's the case, there are other alternatives. Find a happy medium. Perhaps go sit in a beautiful garden, a private one or a public one. Plenty of wonderful grounds out in the world, state parks or local parks, city parks, perhaps an indoor atrium, free open air, in a mall or in an office building or in some other public place, a park with beautiful landscaping. Find a spot, a bench, a big rock, somewhere where you can camp out and just feel and observe the nature around you. Perhaps it's a concrete trail. You can walk around and maybe pick a spot off the trail a little bit and be creative. Pick a spot that inspires you and allows you to recognize the magnificence of outdoors. The third thing is to set aside a couple of hours. Yes, a couple of hours. Not just a quick 15 minutes. You can catch those during the work week. This is an outdoor spiritual retreat. We need time for this to happen. It takes a while for you to really shake off all of the anxiety, the feelings, the thoughts. How about if your mind is just racing, telling you this, that, and the other thing that needs to be done, or things you felt, or things that happened? We need to shake all that off. And then after that gets shaken off, then we start to kind of come into the next layer, which is a whole nother frame of mind, right? You can't rush these things. You gotta let it unfold like an onion, layer on layer. It may feel awkward at first, like, okay, how do I say all these things? How do I get all these things out? It may feel a little robotic, but you know what? That's just the way it goes. We gotta shake it off and get to the core, right? And this is how it's done. Think about if you write, or having a conversation, or working out. When you first start, you're kind of cranky and it doesn't quite get started, or maybe your thoughts aren't coming, but eventually it starts flowing. That writer's block gets out of the way. That body starts moving as you start working out. It's a little at a time, but you've got to just do it. You got to move. You got to get in the flow so that you can get to the point that you're really looking for. And that's the point of unloading it all and finding peace. Before you know it, you'll just be flowing out. You'll be saying everything that needs to be said. You'll unload everything off your shoulders, and you'll just be breathing deeply, and you'll just start to feel more and more light and relaxed. And that's the goal. You'll find that you're in the zone, the peaceful zone. As you empty everything out, you start to fill up. You listen to the sounds around you. Close your eyes. Accept what you hear. Breathe in and smell the smells of nature. Flowers or trees or whatever. Just appreciate the peace that you now are feeling. Hold on to that, because the fourth step is to leave and go back to life. Re-entry back into our everyday. And perhaps you can set aside some time where you don't have to rush right back into life. Maybe you can go home and unwind a little more and relax a little more. Or stop on the way home and grab a cup of tea or coffee and just kind of let it all just expand a little bit more. And if you can do that, I strongly suggest you do. Hey, why don't you share some of your stories? Share in the comments below times that you've had quiet time out in nature, or somewhere you may have gone that you really felt refreshed and recharged when you got back. Love to hear from you. And don't forget to subscribe. If you're liking this Jade Dawn Mom vibe, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you next time.